Greetings guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to Kate's Random Adventures. My name's Kate, and today we're doing an experiment. I realize that's not something that we've ever done on this channel, ever in the history of time. Sarcasm. But I have a number of eyeshadow palettes. Now, as you might be able to deduce from the lack of makeup on my face at the moment, I don't tend to wear them all that much, but they have a rather good selection of colors a lot of the times. So, today, and I realize this is going up after April, and it was supposed to be during April, so it would be 420 and kind of hilarious and all of that, but alas, we're going to be using this guy as watercolor. Okay, so we've got the watercolor brush, detail brush, the other watercolor brush, pencil and eraser, and the Pacifica hemp-based eyeshadow palette. I mean, seriously, look at all those colors. So, it's the Pacifica hemp-infused eyeshadow palette. This is the Cosmic Reflect one. So we've got a whole range of colors here. The only issue with this is that there's only 3 matte shades, everything else is shimmers, so we've just got the, we've got the quartz, that's this guy over here, Lift Off, that's the kind of orange shade, and Hemp Leaf, that's the green, down in the middle there. Gonna be using watercolor paper. This one is Monval cold press 140 pound watercolor paper. So, let's get into it, shall we? And I realize that paper towels and stuff are kind of in limited supply at this point, but you want some kind of blotting thing to work with here. Okay, so I want to do an illustration of a cannabis leaf in honor of the palette that we're working with here. But all the ones on here are just the illustrative outlines. And so we've got the more realistic depictions right there. Now, what I'm aiming to do is not have it be like realism for colors, but just sketch out the shape. Right, so we're starting off with the sketch. Right, so we've got that. Now, I started this project thinking that it would just be a vaguely realistic depiction of a leaf, perhaps with altered coloration per se. It has a lot more character now. And here we see the introduction of the vaguely mid-80s anime eyes to the rest of the illustration, which is, you know, obviously not on screen at the moment. Oh, there we go. Okay, so slight change of plans. Now we're doing a character. But because it's kind of a hot mess, doing some line work. One of the good things about microns is you can, you know, watercolor over them. Once they're dry, at least. I'm actually really impressed with how good it turned out, though. Because I think this is the first time that I've actually drawn a cannabis leaf, trying to go for any kind of realism. And then this is something that I tend to do with my illustrations. I go over it with a thinner line, and then go back over it with a thicker line afterwards. Mostly because a lot of times the eraser will take off part of the line work, and it's a lot easier to just add a thicker line on top of a thinner outline that's already there than it is to try and match the thicker line art when I go back and retouch it. Okay. Alright. And just to make sure that the ink is dry for the line work, you want to just kind of touch it a little bit. Like, obviously after it's had enough time to dry, but like, if you just kind of rub your finger on the lines, especially in a thick spot like that, it was just solid black, so it didn't really matter. But if there's any transfer, then you know you need to let it wait for longer, especially if you're putting water over it. Alright, so this is the hemp green. This is the hemp leaf green. It looks a lot more green in the pan. It's basically a sage, essentially. It's kind of a dusty undertone, which works. And then this is the orange one, which really works with the green, let me just say. That's Liftoff we're working with. And then that's the sparkly black, so Worldly. And just like with any other illustration, you want to make sure that you give all the layers time enough to dry before you go back in and try and do detailing, so, you know. Ooh, yay, close-ups. It's just adding a little bit of shadow to the corners of the eyes, and really, if you don't have proper tools for stuff, like you've got your fingers, that works for pretty much any medium. I've got the detail brush in here now. Alright, so there we have it. Can you use eyeshadow as watercolor paint? Yes, you can. It behaves slightly differently, but you can totally use it. If you've used a paint that's kind of chalky and leaves sort of a white cast, that's kind of what you need to expect when you're going into it, but it totally works. And there is some transfer, like you would kind of expect if you rub your eye or something. There is some transfer, so there might be a way to put setting spray on it or something to secure all the pigments. But I think it turned out pretty dang cool. Look at that. And you can see the purple reflects around the eyes and stuff in there. And I went in with some of the copper pigments on the ends of the leaves, and it's just really cool. So I'm quite happy with that. It did kind of turn out like an angry mid-80s anime guy, but I'm alright with that. That's cool with me. So if you want to check out the review analysis thing that I did on having hemp products in like cosmetics and beauty things, I did a video that will be going up about the same time this one is on my other channel, that I'll leave a link up in the iCard and down in the description, where it's going into the science behind the hemp and what the hemp and cannabis components are supposed to do and what they could potentially actually be doing, and if it's a gimmick or if it's like a legit thing that might help. So if you want to check that out, go pop up there. It works pretty dang well as a paint thing though. I will say, yeah, most of these are glitters. There's a few shimmers in here too, but trying to use the glitter based shadow pigments as paint is rather difficult. It's the same kind of principle as if you're trying to use it as eyeshadow or body glitter or anything else. So if you have experience with that, then but it's basically that the glitter wants to stay in the brush and it doesn't really want to transfer. Also, like with what a lot of people have said for eyeshadow application, if you use a dry brush, it's a lot less pigmented than if you use a wet brush, so something to keep in mind. But yeah, it was a fun little project, and I will probably be doing something like that again in the near future, either with this one or with one of my other palettes. So I've got a few, and there's a few ideas. If there's any particular subject matter or whatnot you'd like to see covered with that sort of medium, leave it in the comments down below, or you can send me a message on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. All the links to everything are down there. All the links to my other channel where I talk about plants are down there. Alright, so if you want to be notified when I upload stuff, just hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon next to it to be notified. And have a good one. See y'all later, everybody. Bye.